Wrestling fans, we missed him in Tampa, but have no fear. Demolition X, the masked superstar, one half of the greatest tag team in WWE history, returns to MWF Studios in downtown Melrose, Massachusetts for two big nights. Saturday, May the 22nd, Sunday, May the 23rd. Axe will be taping historical episodes of Wrestling Insiders along with live shows featuring cyber autograph signings. Demolition Smash signed a limited number of photos when he was with us in Florida. Axe can add his signature to give you a beautiful collectible. Head on over to bostonwrestling.com to pre-order yours now and keep wrestling legends working. Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marty.
And I'm John Cena Sr.
Johnny, the momentum here in Boston Wrestling continues as we continue to build and build and build. The fans want to know, how do we help? We subscribe to the Patreon, but we see all the great merchandise on that set. Coronavirus may have killed the nightlife, especially for someone like Marty, but our acclaimed eBay store is open 24/7 around the world.
Wow. Check it out.
Arguably the greatest professional wrestler of all time. Get this limited edition collector's autograph print personally signed by two-time WWE Hall of Famer Nature Boy Ric Flair, inscribed 16 times for each of his recognized World Championship reigns. One of only 50 made direct from our friends at WWE. Also signed by original artist Rob Schamberger. Help keep wrestling legends working. Get this awesome Ric Flair collectible for your wrestling collection now. Boston Wrestling Sports and the MWF explodes into a new year of unknown with professional wrestling content galore, and we need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after we review the previous night's Monday Night Raw, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with the unpredictable WWE Hall of Famer, Mr. USA, Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights after WWE NXT and AEW at 10 p.m., you never know who's going to show up on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's No Holds Barred Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll journey through the 80s and 90s on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday nights after the lights go down at the Thunderdome on SmackDown, it's John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. If you want early, ad-free access to all of our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and to help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times, for less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Expect the unexpected in 2021.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, welcome to another installment of Oscar's Monday Night Mission here on Wrestling Insiders. The perfect way to end your Monday nights after what can be sometimes long 3-hour endeavors on the USA Network with Monday Night Raw. I'm Dan Marty, the man that guided men on a mission to Tag Team Championship Gold, will be joining us in just a second. We hope you had a fun weekend with us. New Jack was certainly memorable. I can't wait for his Wrestling Insider Extreme episodes to launch, for you guys to enjoy them. I certainly will suggest that you put the women and children to bed, at least certainly a classy lady like Dreamy Mimi, not to be confused with Reese's Pieces, who are probably used to that kind of language. That's a different story for a different time. We're going to be back with live episodes the next 3 weekends, folks. Don't forget, Sunday night during the WrestleMania Backlash pay-per-view on WWE Network on Peacock. We will be live. We're going to have the prize wheel out. We're going to have some fun. Then in 2 weeks, well, fans, let me tell you, I do not know how to put it to you other than this, other than it is going to be a demolishing doubleheader as Demolition Axe joins us Saturday, May the 22nd, Sunday, May the 23rd, for historical Wrestling Insider tapings, watch-alongs, cyber autograph signings. Let me tell you, he had a Clark Griswold-like family vacation adventure down in Tampa. He wasn't able to join us in person like we thought, but he will be with us in the studio. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we round out the month of May. It's going to be another big one from All Elite Wrestling, Double or Nothing on pay-per-view. We're going to have a watch-along for that great event. Hopefully we'll have the prize wheel out and get ready for another night of action-packed wrestling from AEW and help the cause to keep our shows on the air at the same time. Don't forget, we have brand new Wrestling Insider episodes all week long. Tomorrow it is the return of a classic. It is the episode of Wrestling Insiders at Your House at 10 p.m. where WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas shares his love of women's shoes with home video footage that you will never forget once you see it. And with that said, keep that in mind, folks, as you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss an episode. I reintroduce to you the man that almost blew the roof off of Madison Square Garden March the 20th, 1994 at WrestleMania 10, the man on a mission himself, Oscar. Oscar, thank you for joining us.
Why is Tony Atlas wearing women's shoes?
No, he doesn't wear them. He loves them.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you for clarifying that.
He likes to be walked on and stepped on, and he likes to kiss the shoe and sometimes even talk to the shoe. It is certainly a must-see episode. There is actually, I'm going to guess since you never saw the original Oscar, you never saw the follow-up later that summer, where the man who knows his pieces, Dr. David Reese, the president of Boston Wrestling MWF, was on the show and tried to diagnose Tony's love of these shoes, which was a memorable episode to say the least.
Well, how did that go?
I guess you're going to have to watch the footage because it is one for the archives. For that one, Oscar, I just kind of sat back and observed. You know what I mean? There wasn't much I could add to that one.
Boy, that Tony Atlas is crazy than a bed bug.
Well, if you have... We have a little trailer up previewing the video tomorrow night on the YouTube channel, Oscar. Maybe I'll send you the link once we're done recording, just to give you an idea of what you're in for tomorrow night.
Yeah, send me the link because so how was New Jack?
New Jack wanted me to send you a big hello. He is a big fan of yours.
Well, yeah, that's my man. You talk to him before I do. Tell him I said much love and yeah.
I'm just kind of
that's another one.
I'm just kind of concerned what we're going to be able to do with the content once the studio sees it. You know what I mean?
Oh well,
it was a little much.
Yeah, I could imagine.
You said
that is one guy that you just do not want to piss off. You got to really, really, really be careful when you're talking to New Jack.
Well, New Jack said the only person he heard who hadn't even used more foul language than him was Howard Miller here at the studio, but that's a different story for a different time. What is going on in the world of Oscar? The last time we talked, you were wheeling and dealing, being a real estate mogul down in Atlanta. Where are you now in your world travels?
No, I'm at home. We just got back from Atlanta. It's been about a week now. We've been home about 5 days. And just getting everything. Dreamy Mimi is in full FBI mode, looking for a house or an apartment, and she's filling out papers and filing papers and just making plans to start packing things up. This thing is happening faster than I thought it was going to happen. Once they made their minds up, they are dead serious about this move. So before the summer's out, before half the summer's out, we're going to be Georgia residents.
Unbelievable. It's moving faster than the construction at Reese's Pieces in Las Vegas.
Yeah, it is moving real fast. And now speaking of Reese's Pieces in Las Vegas, I am 88% sure that I'm going to be joining you down at the Cauliflower. I got your message about Cauliflower Alley.
Oh, good.
Once you confirm that it's happening, I'm 90% sure I'll be joining you because I love to see you. Love to go down and see the gang one more time. And
One more time? What do you mean?
Well, I know when I say one more time, I mean once again.
Yet again. Oh, okay, okay. I thought you were getting ready to say farewell or something.
Yeah, no. Not one more time, but no, once again. Hopefully we can get Reese to join in. Because I checked, it's not an expensive proposition to do it. The rooms right now are $30 a night. The flights are really, really reasonable, a couple $100. I'll be coming straight from a virtual signing that I got going on in Jersey.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah, right after I'm done with that, I'm coming straight out to Vegas. So, yeah, I'm going to make that happen.
Unbelievable. And according to the Cauliflower Alley Club, it is guaranteed. The only question right now is as far as what the capacity is going to be. It's guaranteed to be at 75% capacity, but they're hoping by the time September comes around, they're going to increase it even more to what the normal banquet capacity would be. And I think that's great. You know, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, if it's 75% now, by September, it's going to be sold out. So they're on track to do big things, and I'm not surprised because it didn't happen last year. It is always well received every year. People that are normally there are starving for it, so they jumped right on it as soon as they announced they were going to do it. So, yeah, I'm looking for it to be over capacity. It's going to be a good time this year.
You think there's the possibility for a sold-out banquet?
Oh, yeah, no. If it's 75% now...
Oh, no. I think either I misspoke or you misunderstood. They are going to allow up to 75% of what the normal capacity would be.
Oh, they're allowing up to 75%. Yeah, no, they'll get that.
You think they'll be able to fill whatever it is they do open up?
Yeah, they'll definitely get that.
Well, if Reese was smart, maybe he could set up one of those party limos to pick up some of the CAC members at the Gold Coast and take them to see the pieces.
Yeah, I know, at $100 a head, right?
Only the finest from President Reese. But Oscar, what is going on in the world of professional wrestling? I know the last time we spoke, you kind of hinted you had ideas for this show. I didn't even want to know what they were. I like the element of surprise, so things are off the cuff and very organic for our great fans that listen at home after Raw. What is going on in your mind this week?
Yeah, the one thing that stood out was I was watching a commercial for NXT, and it had a caption that said, "The NXT's women division is the greatest thing in wrestling right now," and it just stood out, and it just popped in my mind. I'm like, I gotta see what my buddy Dan think about that because as far as women wrestling goes, WWE women wrestling goes. He think it's the worst, but what do you think about What do you think about AEW and NXT's women's division, or any other women's division for that matter?
I think AEW's women's division is largely terrible and worse than WWE's. I'd say out of every major league brand, quote unquote, I'd say NXT's women's division is probably the best. It's nothing I'd go out of my way to see ever, but as far as it being presented to me, it's probably the most respectable one. From A to Z. They don't have anyone the level of Asuka or Charlotte on their roster right now, but from top to bottom, it's probably, I would say, the best one compared to the SmackDown women's roster, the AEW women's roster, Impact's women's roster, and so on.
Now, the fact that Triple H has more autonomy at the running of NXT than he probably does the main roster, I think that has a lot to do with the excellence of that product.
You think so?
Yeah, and if he ever gets his hands on the full reign of the WWE roster, of the main roster, I expect a complete overhaul to be done, and I would imagine that product would see quite an amazing change in a positive way.
Well, you could probably get rid of half of the women on the WWE main rosters right now, and I don't think anyone would shed a tear. And there's a lot of quality bodies down right now at the Performance Center in NXT that could fill those slots.
Well, yeah, but see, that's the genius of the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Back, during the 90s, you had a set squad, and all of them were a star in their own right. Well, most of them anyway. And so now it's like most of the whole situation is expendable. If they get fired, suspended, or hurt, you have an endless pool from NXT that you can call up, or the Performance Center you can call up, and then they constantly just, it's like an assembly line that never ends. You got a constant pool of people that you can call up, fill spots, and new stars that you can create.
And in reality, that's the way it should be. Look at Major League Baseball. If you have a couple of injured players go down, you have that farm system where you can bring up some, what should be, in theory, bodies that are pretty close to being ready, if not 100% ready to go at the Major League level. So I agree with you on that.
But see, the genius of it, now here's where the genius comes in. You can do it now for short coin. You do not have to have those multi-million-dollar Undertaker contracts and pay those big pay-per-view paydays to individuals now.
Yeah, you know what? Well, in theory, once the stars reach the Raw or SmackDown, they are given a new contract, given that they are officially WWE superstars as opposed to NXT trainees. It can fluctuate depending upon the person's past, what kind of a deal they have when they come into WWE, whether they're NXT trainees, whether they're NXT talents, and so on and so forth, and what the money range can be. But, compared to what the average WWE talent is going to make, in most cases, it's going to be a lot more than what the individual is making at NXT.
No, it's going to be a lot more, but it's not going to be, okay. Even the economics back in the 90s was, questionable at best. Matter of fact, it was, really, really low. They still had to pay individuals an enormous amount of money to do a pay-per-view, be it your Bret Harts or your Lex Lugers or, especially your Undertakers. And then, going on down years, your Stone Colds and your John Cena's and your Rocks and so forth and so on. Okay. But see, now my point is you don't have to really pay guys like that.
Right. Well, they have the downside guarantee. As long as they hit that downside guarantee, they're obligated to give them nothing on top of that.
Well, there it is. So, the thing is that, it saves the company a whole bunch of money. And then, like I said, the best part about it is you got guys that are expendable. If you have a WrestleMania and the Undertaker is the headliner, if something happened and he can't make it, you in trouble.
Well, and then you have that too. I don't know if there is anyone from NXT that's going to be able to walk in and take a WrestleMania main eventer spot off the main roster. That's for sure.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, there's only sorry, there's only a few guys, even on the main roster, that's a headliner that can't be replaced in any scenario should something come up.
Who would you say is irreplaceable?
Okay, I'll put it like, let's say something happened to Bobby Lashley, who's the current champion right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
You still gonna have that pay-per-view with Braun Strowman and with Drew McIntyre,
Right.
and you still gonna do pretty much the same business whether he's there or not, and he's the top guy.
Well, it's pretty much guaranteed money from Peacock right now all around. I mean, the pay-per-view universe is very, very limited as far as the people that order it on TV.
The thing is, I'm not even talking about Peacock. I'm talking about, forget the television revenue for a second. Let's just look at fans in the seats. That's what we get out. But let's base from there and then work our way back. What I'm trying to tell you is, you still could fill that card satisfactory and not lose a dime. You could lose Bobby Lashley in this scenario where if Bret Hart was not going to compete, then more than likely back in the 90s, if Bret Hart was scheduled to be the headliner and he wasn't going to show up, you would have a problem. You probably would have to return some ticket money.
Now you're saying nobody really cares if they're missing a marquee talent. So you don't have really the Undertakers or the Cenas or the Austins
right.
or the Batistas.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. If the Rock is supposed to headline a card in Dubuque, Iowa, let's say a house show, no pay-per-view, just a house show, and the Rock's not coming, some people are going home.
They're not going to be happy.
Right, but if Bobby Lashley or Drew McIntyre is not going to compete, ain't nobody going home. They're going to go in and then they're going to take whatever replacement that's the whole point. They don't have the star power, they don't have the star power that, their guys had, back in the 90s and in the 2000s and so forth and so on. And that is what I think is a shame about the whole thing.
It's not as big of a deal.
No, it's not.
And it should be.
It should be.
Well, it's funny enough that you mentioned that. I received a press release from our friends at AEW today. They are going to be going back on the road beginning in late July with the AEW Dynamite each week down south in certain states where life is a little bit more open than where it is for at least us here in the Northeast. Good idea, bad idea, too soon, not soon enough? What do you think?
No, well, I don't think it's too soon for them to try it and see how it go. I mean, this is the thing. With the way things are happening, right? We could prolong it, postpone it, delay it, whatever, but we got to start somewhere. We're trying to get back to some normalcy. And who's to say and how's to say when that's going to happen unless to try and do it. And we try and do it, then maybe we got to shut it down. We try and do it, maybe we got to shut it down. But it's going to come a time where we're going to do it, and next thing you know, it's going to be back to normal. But if we keep being skittish about it, and we keep delaying it, and not doing it, and saying, we ain't ready, it ain't time, this, that, and the other, you can say we ain't ready, and it ain't time by anything. None of us would never be here if our parents said, we ain't ready, it ain't time for them to get together, have sex, and have us.
Very good point. Like you said, at some point you got to kind of bite the bullet and
go
with
it.
Point, you're talking about they're going to be hitting Texas and Miami and, states that have been more welcoming to larger crowds for things. So it's going to be interesting to see what the fan interest is as far as being able to attend events like that. I know for the first time in a year and a half on Friday night, I'm very excited, Oscar, to be attending a live Red Sox game at Fenway Park in a very, very small capacity at Fenway, but just to be able to be there at the park to see a live game with live human beings, I'm very excited about it.
Well, I mean, that's good, and I'm proud of you as being a person that's going. Now, speaking of that, have you got your second shot?
I have not.
You should get your shot.
Well,
I got
I'm
my
on the list.
second
I'm
shot.
on the list.
I got my second shot, and the other night, I'm a week into having the second shot. Now they say that for some people, the second shot will give you flu-like symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
For a little bit, to get your body acclimated. It came down on me like a ton of bricks night before last.
You didn't feel well.
Oh my God! I had a fever. I had chills.
Really?
For a minute there, I'm like, "Oh my God, this second shot's for Sam. I think I got the virus." But then when I read it, it's like it's normal. You get the second shot, your body is going to do that. So that's your body's way of acclimating to whatever it is that the second shot does, so that you don't get the corona.
So maybe should I be prepared to miss a day at the studio as much as I don't want to?
Well, it doesn't happen to everybody, but
Okay.
if it does, don't be alarmed because it's pretty normal.
All right. Well, we'll have to talk to Cecil the Lion about that. I know he's very excited about the reopening of the Coolidge Corner Theater here in Boston that's been closed down for, again, well over a year as well, as life tries to get a little bit back to normal here in Boston. I believe they're going to be at 15% capacity. Fans, if you've had any interesting vaccine-related stories, we'd love to hear them. If you're watching us during the premiere after Monday Night Raw tonight, leave your thoughts in the premiere chat, or if you're watching after the fact in the comment section below. We'd love to know how you react to trying to get that vaccine. Is everyone saying to get the shot, baby, get the shot? It's our shot to get back to normal when you get the shot.
Well, the world has got to. The world's is gonna get back to some semblance of normalcy. It has to. The world has got to keep spinning. We just have to be vigilant on being careful and being vigilant and staying as safe and healthy as we possibly can. And if you feel sick or you think you're sick, stay home. Don't go out and just party like it's 1999 and infect other people. And, be responsible. If there's a vaccine out there, go ahead and take it. And, because the coronavirus is not like, it's not the common cold.
Right.
This thing has killed almost 600,000 in America by itself. Tens of millions of people came down with it. So this is no joke. So
do you think the airlines are overdoing it, Oscar? Everywhere you go, they say social distance, social distance, social distance, except when you go to the airports and then they just cram you on a plane.
Oh, now I think that the airlines are just greedy. And
Greedy?
I've never seen a more. For a while you had some airlines were leaving that middle seat open.
Delta was very good about that.
That was policy. They ain't doing it now. We just flew Delta, and Delta's not doing it no more.
No.
And how are you gonna tell people social distancing in a line? Then you gonna cram everybody together like criminals, rubbing elbow to elbow next to each other. Just keep your mask on over your mouth and over your eyes and over your nose, and you not taking care of them when it comes down to the plane because you worrying about the revenue that you losing because you losing an airline ticket.
Complete strangers, Oscar.
Complete strangers.
People you don't even know that you're stuck next to on.
If it was family, that's one thing.
Right.
But yeah, I'm next to each other. I don't know nothing about this person. I don't know what they got. I don't know where they come from. I don't know where they've been. And yeah, you just crossing over each other, going to the bathroom, and you were just rubbing elbows with people, and then they got to take the mask off to have a drink or to drink the free. They ain't even stop giving you the free Coke so the people can keep their mask on the whole flight. You can pull your mask out. It's terrible. But like I said, that is your example of corporate greed at its best. Not caring about you will say out loud you care about the health and safety of the public, and at the same time, you throwing them in a cesspool of virus.
You think that's what it is, a cesspool of potential virus? That's what you think it is?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I respect your opinion.
It's a cesspool. I'm not saying it's a cesspool because you don't know, but that's the point. You don't know either way. So why spend all this time talking about social distance and keep your mask on and this, that, and the other, and then this, but not in this scenario. Yeah. In this scenario, all of a sudden, it's okay not to social distance. It's okay not only to not social distance, but rub up against each other on a 1 hour, 2 hour, 5 hour, 10 hour flight to God knows where.
Yeah, I agree with you 110%. I don't understand why you have to social distance everywhere on the planet, except when you get on the airline or an airplane with someone that you don't know potentially sitting next to you if you're traveling alone.
Yeah, it's the biggest hypocrisy that I've seen when it comes to any scenario in a long, long time.
A lot of greed.
That's what it is. That's all it is, greed. I mean, it's dollars over death. I mean, let's call it what it is.
Dollars over death. You know what? I may send them out a tweet after we're done with this show. See if any of the airlines have the balls to respond to the Monday night mission.
Yeah. You ask them. You ask them, why is this okay?
Yeah, the cesspool of potential virus. No, I am.
And they were not being. And it's not like, okay, well, the vaccine. No, there's airlines that wasn't being safe before there even was a vaccine.
No kidding.
Everybody wasn't doing the middle seat thing before that. They just put you on a plane next to each other and didn't care how they did it.
I admired Delta for holding out as long as they did.
Yeah, well, I guess they saw everybody else and followed suit. They were like, well, if American ain't going to do it, United ain't going to do it, Southwest ain't going to do it, why should we?
There you go. All right, wrestling fans, I'm getting the cue from the back. We're going to take a brief timeout. You know what? When it comes to the airlines right now, I give them a thumbs down. But if you're enjoying Oscar's Monday Night Mission here on Wrestling Insiders, give the video a big thumbs up. Let's show YouTube how much you're enjoying the series. Of course, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel for free. You get over access to 2,000 free videos. Again, the more folks that gives us a thumbs up, that subscribe to the channel, it shows YouTube that you love us, and YouTube shows the videos to more and more new fans that don't know we exist. And we are humble enough to admit that there are millions of fans from the boom of the 80s that gave up on wrestling in 2021. There are millions of fans that gave up on pro wrestling after the Attitude Era and the Monday Night Wars. I have a feeling once they find us, they're going to love us, Oscar. So thumbs up, subscribe, and if you could, fans, while we're taking this time out, share the link across social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Facebook wrestling groups, on Reddit, send the link to popular wrestling websites. Let's show the world what Wrestling Insiders is all about 5 nights a week. Right now, we're going to take a brief time out. When we come back, it'll be more Monday Night Mission. Stand by.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marty.
And I'm Mr. USA WWE Hall of Famer Tony Atlas.
The road to WrestleMania has begun. Wrestling fans are looking to add to their man caves. You got to see what we have in the eBay store.
Check it out.
At Night of Champions 2020, Tribal Chief Roman Reigns successfully defended the WWE Universal Championship against his cousin, Jey Uso, in a must-see battle. Here is your chance to own a piece of Roman Reigns moments before battle on this beautiful limited edition autographed 11x14 poster direct from friends at WWE. It's number 19 of only 50 made. Includes WWE authentication hologram on the poster itself. Suitable for framing and matting. You'll also receive a bonus Legends autographed 8x10 photo in an on-air shout-out on Wrestling Insiders as our thanks for helping keep Wrestling Legends working. Get this ultra-rare Roman Reigns autograph poster now.
Cheer. Why, hello. I would ask what was on your mind, but I already know. You want to know what has got my beard looking oh so majestic. And I'll tell you, it's sexy as hell beard care. Coconut oil, vitamin E oil, almond oil, both sweet and bitter, shea butter, it's all natural. Yes, JTG has actually come out with a high quality product. So support your boy by going to sahbeardcare.com and take one step closer to becoming sexy as hell. Cheer. Ooh, cheer. You know?
All right, wrestling fans, welcome back. The coronavirus may have killed the nightlife, except for everybody but Marty, Jannetty, and the airlines, I guess. But that doesn't mean our eBay store shuts down. It is open 24/7. We have great merchandise from every era of professional wrestling. Best of all, you help keep wrestling legends working, help keep the lights on here at the studio. You can find the link to our acclaimed Boston Wrestling eBay store in the description box below, or if you go to bostonwrestling.com, just click the button that says store. It'll take you right there. This is Dan Marty back with WWF superstar of the mid-90s during the new generation, Oscar of Men on a Mission. Oscar, a pleasure to have you back. A lot of fans have been typing in, emailing in. They want to know, Oscar, what do you think of the potential free agency of Daniel Bryan?
The free agency of Daniel Bryan, when I say it out loud, I still just don't believe it.
You think it's a work?
I believe it's a work 100%.
Do you?
I mean, okay. I'll go ahead and play along.
Shoot.
If he is a free agent, if he wants it, Daniel Bryan is going to have a job before the month is out. He's either going to AEW, they will pursue him with the tenacity of me trying to get with Sheila Bird when I was in the 8th grade.
With the tenacity of Reese going after one of the pieces.
Well, he don't need no tenacity. They his pieces.
Well, they come after him, I guess.
Get the new piece. Reese the tenacity of Reese going at the strip club trying to get that new piece to add to the roster of Reese's pieces. And I believe that they will throw whatever it is they have got to get him. Besides money, a title run, the title, a good storyline, a good angle, creative input, whatever. But like I said, that's me playing along. Do I believe that he's a free agent? Do I believe WWE? And I do not believe WWE is going to let him go for 1 second because, and the reason why, because that there's another viable option out there.
Well, from a financial point of view, WWE has the revenue streams to give him the moon if they really wanted to.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. It's like I was trying to tell you earlier. It's like their whole attitude when it comes down to the economics of making a talent happy is not what it used to be.
Not at all.
Now, for somebody like a Daniel Bryan, they'd be smart to do it. But no, I don't believe he's a free agent. I don't believe that they will be parting ways at this time, and so it's just a wait and see game. Well, if anything else, he's due for a vacation.
I know he has been involved in the creative process in WWE in recent months. Maybe that is a way to try and let his creative juices stir. Maybe they came up with kind of a little angle right there to try and swerve everybody. You know, it wouldn't be the first time if you look back to when he was released in 2010 during the infamous Nexus debut when he choked out ring announcer Justin Roberts by his scarf. He was MIA for a couple of months before he came back at SummerSlam. So a precedent has been set as far as those types of swerves go.
A front office job is one of the biggest post-wrestling delicacies that you can offer seasoned talent. So in that regard, if he's part-time that and then part-time in the ring, or if he's full-time that is certainly a way to keep him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you said, front office, anyone would love to claim one of those jobs, especially if they could still compete at the same time and get the best of both worlds. The employee status plus, you know, again, being able to go out there and work in some high-profile pay-per-view matches and TV angles. I think he has a lot left in the gas tank. I mean, he just was part of the match most would consider the main event of WrestleMania 37 down in Tampa. The yes chance may have tamed a little bit, but he's still certainly one of the top guys within the entire industry, I would say.
The luckiest guy to ever have anything fall in his lap, and when I'm talking about the whole kit and caboodle, is that Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Hunter Hearst Helmsley married the boss's daughter, and he has it all. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That unlimited WWE credit card, that swollen up Hulk Hogan Python ass bicep bank account, leadership, the son-in-law, calling the shots, created NXT, that's doing well, and at the same time, when he feels like it, he can get a semi-main spot at a WrestleMania, and I still like to see him compete.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's been, God, I don't think he's had a match since WrestleMania 35 against Batista. Was that his last match, I'm thinking?
That was it.
It's been about 2 years since he stepped inside the squared circle. He's never had an official retirement match, but I'm sure we'll see him in the ring again at some point. He keeps himself in peak physical condition year-round, in better condition than a lot of the athletes on the roster.
Yeah, but he has it. But I'm saying that you're not going to get it like that because, I mean, you know, he's got things that he's got, but he's living under special circumstances. But if you can get somewhere in the ballpark or in that in that stratosphere, then you have it all.
You're doing well for yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Very well for yourself. Well, it'll be interesting to see the future of Daniel Bryan, how long he would remain off of WWE television for. Like you said, if you want to play along with what's being reported out there, certainly. I can't think of a full-time wrestling promotion that wouldn't want to go out of their way to hire the man.
Yeah, I don't. Hey, like I said, I mean, it's just. I mean, I say what I think. It just seems to be just all over the place right now, and it just needs to, continuity needs to come back. We just need some house cleaning, and I think the whole thing needs to be overhauled. Pretty much blow it up and start from scratch.
That's WWE system.
The entire system. No. I think NXT is doing well for itself.
Okay.
As far as the main roster go, yeah, I think the whole thing needs to implode, and I think the whole thing needs to start from the bottom, and then we just need to go. We need to go from there. That's just how I.
You blow it up.
I would blow it up, and I would get rid of everybody. Make everybody audition back for a spot and just start from the beginning.
Huh. Interesting. Well, maybe they need you down there in Orlando, Oscar. I don't know. It seems like you have some interesting ideas. I don't think that would be the worst thing to do, where things have become so stale and repetitive a lot of weeks, as we have probably just seen on Monday Night Raw tonight. Their 3 hours can be tough to sit through, where you have some of the same characters on TV, sometimes 3 or 4 times in a night. And I mean, I don't think there's a demand really from the fans that want to see talent on TV 3 or 4 times
But
a
see,
night.
the thing is, though, there's really nothing wrong with repetition. I've seen repetition in wrestling as long as I've been in the game. I've seen repetition, but the repetition has to work. The repetition has got to make sense.
It doesn't make sense to you right now.
I'll put it like this. What the biggest mistake that they make, okay, this is my opinion, and people will disagree with me and throw tomatoes at me if I was on a stage right now. The biggest mistakes they make is you cannot do the same thing today that you did back in 1994. Mm-hmm. You can't keep a feud going with Bret Hart and Jerry Lawler. Had Lawler not got in trouble, that feud would have went on till doom cracked. Yeah. But you can't have a feud with a Yokozuna and a Yokozuna and anybody. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes feuds went on for 1-2 years straight. You know, and the fans laughed it up. You can't have a feud going on with Mick Foley and anybody, and then try to have it today with Randy Orton and that idiot on the scooter,
Matt Riddle.
Right, you can't because they're not the same. They're not the same character. They're not the same type of. It ain't the same type of talent where it's going to hold the interest of people like it did back then.
It's not the same quality.
First of all, fans back then were older that were in the wrestling and more matured. But yeah, you had some kids, and that's quite all right. Nowadays, in this microwave generation, you got a whole different mindset where you can't keep doing the same thing. You gotta move on. You gotta move on, and you gotta move on quickly. And what that does is it confuses the whole equation every time.
Do you think it's too fast-paced right now?
That's it. It's too fast-paced, and when it's fast-paced like that, the entertainment value is not something that you can really get invested in. As soon as something is happening, you got to switch out of that and then go someplace else.
As soon as things get interesting, they've already moved on to the next program or vendetta.
The Fiend and Randy Orton, that could have been a real creative thing that could still been going on had it been done right. But no, they had to go. First off, they went way too overboard with it, and then they had to end it because there was no place else to go with it.
I still don't even understand where it went. The ending to the WrestleMania match was confusing.
And you are making my point. I don't know where it went.
It was garbage.
When we had feuds back in the day, guess what? They had a beginning to the story. They had a middle to the story. However long and sometimes it was drawn out a little bit too long, but the storyline ended. And when another one started, it made sense where that person was going.
Right. Well, the whole Fiend presentation, since he was lit on fire by Randy Orton, I think has left a lot to be desired. It almost seems like they're trying to build everything around Alexa Bliss and not him.
Oh, God. And I mean, does anybody care?
No. to answer the question for you, no. I can't think of too many people that are interested in seeing a 5-foot-tall, possessed woman with a little doll that looks like Reno Chastain and speaks sometimes. I find no interest in that. The average age of the person that watches Raw is in their mid-50s. I can't think of too many people in their mid-50s that are interested in watching that. As far as trying to attract that younger demographic, I can't see a younger demographic that's interested in a stupid-looking doll.
You don't understand it, and you don't want to understand
There's
it.
no explanation for as to what had happened, why it happened, and why it continues.
And see, the sad part about Alexa Bliss is I am pretty sure that this particular stage of her life and her career and what she's doing now, I believe this is her swan song. I believe this is it for her.
You think this is it for her?
I think this is it.
Really?
Because what sense is it going to make for her to go from being this character, this little idiot she's playing now, to going back to being normal?
And that's what's going to happen eventually. And how do you explain it? Do you just present it as if it was a bad dream?
But like I said, I believe that is not going to make sense. I don't think that they're going to think fans are dumb enough to accept it. So I do believe that this is. I believe this is it.
That's how they'll wrap it up. They'll just get rid of her when they're done with it.
Right, because in all honesty, you don't need her for nothing. Who you going to tag her with? Then if you do tag her with somebody, who and what for what? And then what are they going to do?
And it takes away from their credibility.
Right, and then if she goes back in the singles competition, she was not that good to begin with. So this, like I said, my prediction is, and I believe I'm right. This is it.
This is it. How long do you give her in the company? You think she makes it to next year's WrestleMania?
She does not make it to next year's WrestleMania. I'm glad you said that. No.
Wow. You're shooting, brother.
Let's put it like this. I'll give you a more definitive answer. Sometime after SummerSlam, it's going to start to dwindle until it ain't no more. If it even make it that far.
Do you think there's a possibility they could just keep her as it is? Or do you think that fans really just don't care that much that they won't keep it around?
That's my thing. They're not going to be able to find nothing to do with it.
No one's going to care about her little dog.
Nobody's going to care about it. I mean, what angle do you put? What angle do you put this situation in? That's going to last or make sense or garner any interest.
Well, I know she's had a lot of concussion problems, in her real existence. She hasn't been doing a lot of wrestling, that's for sure.
Well,
it's just been a lot of nonsense that no one really is invested in.
And like I said, it's all about the economics. They're gonna wake up one day, realize they're tired of paying her, and then that's gonna be it. And that's all it takes, really.
Stick a fork in her, she's done.
Yep.
Well, could you see her even moving on to another company under a different name where she couldn't be Alexa Bliss?
I can't even see that. But number one, like you just said, she's got the concussion issue. That's gonna follow her around. And then number two, she's not. No, she can't hang out. She can't hang with the NXT females, and AEW don't need her.
Well, AEW's female roster is just it needs anything it could get. She'd almost look like Shawn Michaels in '96 compared to some of the female athletes they have in AEW right now. Again, that's a different story for a different time as well. But there isn't much on that AEW female roster right now that has much of a pulse to it.
And what happened to Awesome Kong?
I think she went back to do Glow for Netflix, and then that got canceled, and I have no idea where she's been since then. That's one of my favorite people in wrestling. I like her an awful lot. She's a good human being. Why she is nowhere to be found, I don't know. I don't know the answer. Maybe Howard Miller will have to find out for us. I don't know the answer to the question.
Yeah, no.
Would you like to see her back? There's someone you talk about credibility.
Yeah, no, she is a great female monster. She can move in the ring and she knows how to play the part. So yeah.
Well, have you heard any more about the situation we brought up not too long ago when it regards to Charlotte Flair in her face? She had some issues with what Dave Meltzer put out there online, and to me, she continues to look like a different person. I don't know what more I can add to it.
No, I haven't heard nothing new, and like I said, that's one of them things that they're not really milking that, and they just really putting they're just really putting her back in a position like nothing ever happened.
And going forward, do you think Charlotte is in for another big run in WWE where you have such a limited supply of top-notch females? You have her.
I think that, like you said, you don't care for none of the females, but Charlotte Flair is one of the talents. She's a talent, when it comes down to that.
Right.
When it comes down to the female wrestler, she's a true talent. So yeah, with her talent and capability, yeah, I think Charlotte. I see her as a champion, either on SmackDown or on Raw, and then keeping the belt for quite a while.
Well, it seems like there's certainly the possibility she could be the man to break her father's record of championship belts hold, which would be pretty sad considering it took Rick several decades to do that, and Charlotte's been on the main roster since 2015. But I guess that's the pace of how things go in 2021.
That's like I said, that microwavable society we live in. But before we go, I gotta ask you.
I gotta hear it, brother.
I've been watching these legend stories, and I'm finding them fascinating. That daggone Bill Apter had the collar from Andy Kaufman that he wore during his match with Jerry the King Lawler. He gave it to him for free. I was just shocked to see that my friend Bill Apter got that kind of memorabilia. I need to hit him up for him to send me one or two things that I could sell and make me a minute too.
I'm going to bet he got a little payday out of that. I'm going to guess that maybe he didn't get a flat payday for the actual item, but for his involvement in the show, I'm going to guess that wasn't done for free. An educated opinion, I don't know that to be fact. I like Bill Apter an awful lot, but I can't imagine that he'd want to be giving away something like that for nothing. For a show that's probably generating a lot of revenue from their commercial sales.
Yeah, well, I mean, TV is TV, but I was just shocked to see that he had it.
Yeah, well, you know what? Think of where that man has been throughout his career. He was in every territory known to mankind.
Yeah.
I bet you he's got a lot of artifacts in that basement of his. God only knows what kind of artifacts Reese has, but that's a different story for a different time. He's trying to showcase them at the new club. But, Oscar, before we go, did you have a chance to see AEW Blood and Guts, their version of War Games?
No, I did not. That was probably during around the time I was traveling and didn't catch it.
Yeah. Well, check it out on YouTube. I'd be interested to see what your thoughts of this 10-man bloody melee were. It had varied opinions across the industry and within the fans online. Would love to know what you thought of the wild brawl between the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle.
Oh, was there a lot of blood in that?
Lots of blood.
Okay. Without seeing it, I can tell you one interesting thing.
All right, let's hear it.
I can tell you that I'm shocked by that simply because years ago I sat down with Pat Patterson. We were just shooting the breeze because we had nothing to do. And he told me that they wasn't ever going to do that anymore.
And obviously they went back on that.
Oh, yeah, no, obviously. But no, it was just interesting that they do that. But he looked me in my eyes and told me, that he didn't think that fans wanted to see juice anymore, and by juice I mean blood, and that they were really getting away from that, never to return again.
I think blood in moderation, I think it is fantastic, and it makes it so much more believable and interesting and engaging. It isn't even funny. I think when it's overdone, it's just a waste. But when, to me, again, pacing, patience, moderation, those types of things, I think it really adds to professional wrestling drama. I don't know how you have Hell in a Cell matches without blood. I don't understand how you have an Elimination Chamber without blood. I don't understand what the point of the match is.
Yeah, but see, the one thing, now, like you said, in moderation, but see, one thing that you still got to factor in that wrestling is still a family show, whether you want it to be or not. And that you got little kids that imitate and emulate these guys and these moves and all of this stuff, and they watch it on TV. And a whole bunch of bloodletting is not good for kids to see.
Well, maybe that's the night you rate the show TV 14 or TVMA, and you put up a disclaimer ahead of time so the parents know what to expect.
Who really pays attention to that?
I'm just telling you how I would cover my bases if I was WWE. It's also there is an endless supply of matches with blood from past WWE endeavors on YouTube that any fan, any young kid can look up at any time to try and see the quote-unquote good old days for it. So do you not want to produce new content with blood in it now? I can understand you maybe not, but I think a couple of times a year done in the right way, I think it really enhances the product. If it's overdone, it's just a complete waste and it's forgotten about within the next week.
Yeah, no, I can't say that I disagree with that. I mean, when I'm thinking about it, I really wish that I was coming in that Monday night to Vegas because we could have put together our very own watch party for Monday Night Raw.
Well, what day are you coming in?
I don't get into Tuesday. My virtual signing is the 13th, which I think is that Monday.
Oh, yes, it is. You're right. Okay. Yeah, it would be a Tuesday, right.
I get in the next day, but yeah, if I got in that Monday, yeah, for us to have a nice watch party, that would have been that we don't. Well, then again,
who says we're limited?
No, what I'm thinking is we could have an AEW watch party that Wednesday though.
We could probably pull something like that off, depending upon how it would conflict time-wise with the baloney blowout.
All right,
well, let's sandwiches.
Let's put our heads together and see what it is that we can come up with. That would be a great idea.
Oscar, you're a man with an endless supply of it, brother. Before we go, any final thoughts on this week in the world of professional wrestling?
Well, I'm looking forward to Monday Night Raw tonight. I think McIntyre goes up against Lashley on Raw.
It's over by the time this airs, remember, so...
Oh, well, we want your thoughts on that match. And then, looking forward to our next show where we'll be talking about Backlash. I can't wait to see what all happens. I don't expect a whole bunch of title changes and a whole bunch of anything coming from it, but then again, you never know.
You think it'll be a rather boring pay-per-view this Sunday night?
Cesaro versus Reigns, I mean...
You're not feeling it?
No, not at all. They could have matched him up better than that. But you never know. I mean, the Undertaker's not coming back. I'm finally convinced Undertaker's not coming back. But I do expect Brock Lesnar to make another run, so I'm waiting for that.
You don't think the Undertaker's got one more WrestleMania match in him?
I wouldn't be shocked if he did, but I kind of think you got to be done at some point. That's what I want to say. So maybe this is it.
All right. Well, that remains to be seen. Fans, it has been a pleasure for you joining us tonight. We loved having you on Oscars Wrestling Insiders Monday Night Mission every Monday night after Raw at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the premiere chat box to the right of the screen, or if you're not watching during the premiere, in the comment section below. Use the super chat button. It's always open for business. Don't forget to tip the bartender if you're having fun. And more than anything, join the Boston Wrestling MWF Patreon family. Over at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling, you get early access to Wrestling Insider programming. You get access, to our world-renowned studio shoot interview DVD library that has been seen by millions online and millions more on The Howard Stern Show, thanks to the Iron Cheek. You get some Patreon exclusives, plus you have the knowledge that you are helping keep wrestling legends working. Again, that's patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. For my Monday night partner in crime, Oscar, I'm Dan Marty. Don't forget, tomorrow night we examine the Hall of Famer Tony Atlas and his love of the female shoe. It is one you're not going to want to miss at 10 o'clock. But for Oscar, I'm Dan Marty. We'll see you next week. Good night. The World Wrestling Federation was live at Al Arabi Stadium in Kuwait City, Kuwait, Friday, May the 10th, 1996. In the opening contest, Duke the Dumpster Drosy beat Bob Backlund. Aldo Montoya with the win over Isaac Yankem. The Bushwhackers defeated the New Rockers. In Kuwaiti Cup quarter-final matches, The Undertaker victorious over British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith. Hunter Hearst Helmsley beat Savio Vega. Owen Hart with the win over Bret Hart. Ahmed Johnson defeated Stone Cold Steve Austin. And in the main event, WWF World Champion Shawn Michaels retained the title over Yokozuna. If you were in Kuwait City live, share your memories in the comment section below. Use the links in the description box to keep wrestling legends working in our eBay store and on our renowned Patreon streaming service, so we can bring you more interactive superstar shoot interviews to relive the good old days of professional wrestling. Check it out. Boston Wrestling Sports in the MWF explodes into a new year with professional wrestling content galore and need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after our Monday Night Raw review, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. after NXT and AEW, join rotating legends on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's no-holds-barred sex, drugs, and rock and roll journey on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday night after SmackDown, don't miss John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, history videos, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view, watch-alongs, and more. For less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, get early ad-free access to our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times. Join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Expect the unexpected in 2021.